Through the dark woods and into the night. Ha! I'm coming for you to give you a fright.
Today I'm going to be unboxing, setting up, and doing a demo of the Spirit Halloween 2022 Lil Skelly Bones Animatronic. For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and welcome to yet another Spirit Halloween 2022 Animatronic unboxing, setup, demo, and review video. And as you can tell by the box right in front of me, today we are going to be unboxing the Spirit Halloween 2022 Lil Skelly Bones Animatronic. Now, I was able to pick this guy up at the grand opening of my local Spirit Halloween location, along with the Possessed Pumpkin Animatronic. I'm not sure which unboxing is going to be coming out first, so if Possessed Pumpkin is not out, keep an eye out for that one as well. But as you can see, I was able to pick up Lil Skelly Bones, the only one that my store had in stock, and today we are going to be putting him together. But before we crack this guy open, let's take a look at his box. Alright, so as you can see, Lil Skelly Bones has a very small box for an animatronic, and that is because he's only 3 feet tall, which is obviously a very small size for a prop for 2022. The front of the box is a very nice big picture of Lil Skelly Bones. It's got his name on it, talks about some of his animations and features. This side right here has 2 pictures of Lil Skelly Bones in the box style that we've been seeing for 2021 animatronics and 2022 animatronics. This side over here has the same stock photo that's on the front, but only 1 picture of him. And then the back has his name, his backstory, and his price tag of $169.99, $170 United States dollars, which by the end of this video, you'll know whether I think he's worth this price tag or not. So stick around to the end to the review portion of this video. I'm very excited to crack this guy open because he is already very famous for possibly having one of the hardest animatronic setups of all time, and that's because he is a Crazy Create manufactured animatronic. So I'm very excited to see how hard it truly is to set him up. With all that out of the way, let's crack him open. Alright, so this guy just has a regular tab opening, just like most animatronics. And like I said, this guy is manufactured by Crazy Create, which is interesting because the original Lil Skelly Bones that came out in 2015 was manufactured by YJ. So the revamped version, this one, is actually manufactured by a different company, Crazy Create, which is why his setup is notoriously so difficult. So here we go. All the pieces are kind of in just a pull-out, just like a lot of Crazy Create props. Right off the bat, we have his instructions. Very standard instructions for a 2022 animatronic with the different parts labeled in different sections. Nothing fancy there. Here we have his kind of shoulder framing, also where the head connects, and you have that mechanism so that the head can pop up. Really simple piece. Plastic shoulder framing, so he has a little bit of shape. I know a lot of people have been talking about this. His little plastic blister shoes, which have so much detail in them, even though they're actually covered up by the costume. So it's pretty funny to see that he has these 2 little feet to go in there. Next, we have one of his hands, his little tiny hands, and arm pieces with the foam already attached on there. Next, his 2 leg pieces, so he has some shaping. Here we have his clothing bag with his little skeleton costume. And then next up we have the most important piece, and that is of course Lil Skelly Bones' head. So I'll bring this up so you can all get a close-up of Lil Skelly Bones' head. Alright, so as you can see, Lil Skelly Bones' head is very tiny, just like the original one was. Now, I don't own the original Lil Skelly Bones, but I do know the main difference between the revamped version and the original. This one is a lot more gray. That's probably a Crazy Create production kind of thing, because they just kind of used a different color scheme for the head, and they couldn't get it exactly perfect. Honestly, I think I like the gray coloring more than the more yellowy one that we saw on the original Lil Skelly Bones. This one looks really good. I also want to mention that Crazy Create recreated the YJ Bloodshot eye design, which is hilarious that they were actually able to get that pretty much spot on from one manufacturer to another. So that's pretty funny. Everything else seems to be kind of in a box and zip tied into the slip out, so I'm going to have to cut everything out, but I'll come back to you once I've done that. Alright, so here we are with all of the pieces taken out of the box. And to make this a little bit more interesting, just because how complicated the setup is built up to be, I'm going to set a stopwatch, and then I'm going to put it at the end of my time lapse, exactly how long it took to put them together. I got my instructions right here. I am expecting a very difficult setup from Crazy Create, and we'll see how long it takes. I'm hoping to get around an hour. We'll see if that's even possible, but 3, 2, 1, start the counter, and we'll see how long it takes. Alright, so here he is, the Spirit Halloween 2022 Lil Skelly Bones animatronic fully set up. Now before I show you my demos, I do just want to say it took me 35 minutes and 24 seconds to fully assemble this animatronic. Honestly, I thought it was going to take me a lot longer. I'll get more in depth about how the setup was in a second because it wasn't super hard. It was more tedious, but before I give you my review on this guy and my thoughts on his price and everything like that, let's take a look at his demos.
Through the dark woods and into the night. I'm coming for you to give you a fright. Da 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 da. Pray for the dead and the dead will pray for you. You can pray for the dead, but the dead will prey on you. 3, 2, boo! Ready or not, here I come. Da 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 da.
Alright, so you just saw the demos for the Spirit Halloween 2022 Lil Skelly Bones animatronic, and overall, I think this guy is really cool. Now, originally when I saw him, I was not a big fan, and that was solely because of the audio. I did say that I liked the animation and I liked the look of him, but I thought the audio was really a big negative for this animatronic. Unfortunately, I still think the audio is probably my least favorite thing about him. It has definitely grown on me a lot since I first heard it, but I definitely think that it could be improved just a little bit to make him even better. But everything other than that, the look of this guy and mainly the animation is why I love him so much. Since I saw him at Flagship, I knew that the animation was something that set him apart from a lot of other animatronics. People at Flagship, when they were activating him, he was scaring absolutely everyone. He even got me, like, every time I turn him on, just because of how fast a jump scare is. Even though you know that it's coming, it's really quick and really catches you off guard, just because of how much he pops up. And really, when you look at a small animatronic like this, you don't expect a big jump scare to happen, so it's a really nice surprise, and it's a really awesome jump scare for getting a scare from someone as they walk by. I also really enjoy the look of this guy. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning, this guy is manufactured by Crazy Crate, and the original Lil Skelly Bones was manufactured by YJ. So Crazy Crate had to recreate the head that was on the original, and as you can see here, I mean, the head is really spot on to what the original looked like, other than the coloring, like I said in the beginning. But overall, I think the coloring of this head is better than the original, just because it looks a lot more like a regular skull, with the gray coloring more than the yellow that YJ did. I also love how Crazy Crate redid the bloodshot eye design that YJ has used on so many animatronics from the past. So overall, I think the face looks really awesome. Another thing I really like about the look of this guy is kind of the posture that he has. And this is solely because of the setup of this guy, which I will touch on in a second. Obviously, Crazy Crate makes you use these weird, like, pool noodle type legs for Lil Skelly Bones. That's not a new thing for animatronics, but the way you add them on is different, because his legs, as you saw in my time lapse, you actually attach them up by the shoulder frame here, and then they come all the way down the body, down to his feet, which is how you get the bend, so it looks like his knees are actually bent down like he's crouching. Really enjoy the framing and posture of this guy, because it really makes him look like a little kid who is like kneeling down, and honestly it looks really realistic in person. Now, the two last things I want to talk about are the setup and the price. Obviously, the setup is known to be very difficult, and like I said, it took me 35 minutes to assemble. Honestly, after everything I heard about it, I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it actually was. It definitely was a little bit more complicated than the average animatronic setup, and that's because he is a Crazy Crate animatronic. He had a lot of zip ties that were mainly the hardest thing to do, because you have to zip tie plastic things around his shoulder frame and all this kind of stuff. I would say the hardest thing about his setup was getting the outfit on, because you have to slide it onto his feet, then up the legs, then over the hands, then up the arms, then over the head. A lot of different pieces in order to put on the outfit. Finally, the last thing that I want to talk about for this animatronic is the price tag. This guy is retailing for $169.99, $179 during the Spirit Halloween 2022 season. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good price, because when you're buying this animatronic, you really do get a lot. You have an awesome jump scare, you have LED eyes, you have the head pop-up motion that goes like this. Really, the only thing I could think of that maybe would make him a little bit better for the price would be if his hands pulled away from the face. I feel like that would also make it cooler for the jump scare, because then the hands would actually pop out like Peekaboo Clown almost, so that you could actually see the face, and it would make the jump scare just a tad better. But overall, especially because you can get 20% off on this Lil Skelly Bones animatronic, I feel like 170 bucks is a perfect price tag for this guy, and he's definitely one of the best priced animatronics for the Spirit 2022 season. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up my unboxing, setup, demo, and review of the Spirit Halloween 2022 Lil Skelly Bones animatronic. I definitely recommend you go pick him up either from the Spirit Halloween website or from your local Spirit Halloween. He's pretty easy to find because he was one of the first shipments to Spirit locations. And definitely go pick this guy up as soon as you can, because he's an awesome jump scare at a fantastic price, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy him as well as your visitors and guests during the Halloween season. Well, ladies and gentlemen, remember as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. I'll see you guys later for more Spirit Halloween 2022 videos. Goodbye.